Be alright. It's the daily vlog. I know I missed a day, maybe two. Things were going on. For those with a keen eye, you'll see we've got a new bulb. So there's been bits going on. There was a little leak, so I've not really been in the mood to be doing these. But it don't really matter anyway, because no fucker really watches them. And if you do, thank you. So a little update. My weekend, the market at the clay factory went really well. Lots of people turned up. That was great. So if you came along, thank you for coming. We're thinking of doing more in the future now, every few months or so. So that's something to look forward to. Yesterday, I took a little day off, playing games, and played a game called Plague Tale: Innocence, something like that. It's about this little kid that can control rats with his brain, and because he's got some form of blood disease, so he can control. Well, there's like a demon living inside his blood, and it awakens, and he can make rats do what he wants, which is basically just kill people. So that was cool. Not really a lot to say. Going to the studio now, gonna make a few bits, make sure everything's back online after the market. So if today I'll be sending out a little thank you gift to my the biggest supporter of 2019. So biggest supporter to me isn't how much money you spend, because I know that everyone's got a different amount of money, and I know that everyone isn't really in a position to spend money, but it's for the people that have consistently bought things through the year. Whoever's made the most separate orders throughout the year. So not someone who's spent more money than someone else, because that's not fair. That's not everyone is in a position to do that, so not everyone would have a chance of winning. But for the I would, as much as I'd like to thank everyone who spends a fair more money than other people, I want to be able to thank anyone, so I have a more open chance of someone being able to be, crowned biggest supporter sounds shit, but it just seems like the best way to say thank you. So to me, it doesn't matter how much someone spends, man. I'm just buzzing that someone wants to buy my stuff. So say you bought a couple of the raffle tickets earlier in the year when I was doing that, and then you bought other orders throughout the year. Like, say, there's people that seem to buy every other month, which is mental, and I really appreciate it. So I just want to be able to show that back by saying to the person who's done it the most, there's a little something that I think you might like. But that's not to make everyone start buying loads of stuff today to try and get that. That's already done, decided. That person's getting that sent to them later this evening. If you do want to win something, I've got a little prize draw going on my Facebook page at the minute, which is for whoever's got the top fan badge. So if you've got the top fan badge, you'll be put into a little prize draw. Well, I'll pick your name out of the list at random with my eyes closed, most likely. And then I'm going to send you a mystery box or a go fuck yourself box, as they are. So that's a little thank you for yous, because yous lot have been helping me share my stuff while I've been banned on Facebook. And it's a nice way of saying, thank you at Christmas time. So I don't really have any weird thoughts in my head. I just want to get that out there and let people be aware of it. I did read though yesterday, I read in a book that these doctors were injecting saline solution into the ligaments, and then decided that doesn't, to try and find out transferred pain. Like when you have a heart attack, your arm aches and it hurts. So they were trying to work out why that happens and where you can cause pain elsewhere. And that's why if you go to the doctors now with like a hip injury or a hip pain, they might be like, your problem's in your knee on the other side, you're countering the weight. But yeah, they decided that wasn't enough and it wasn't hurting them properly. So what they did was they sharpened some wire and then drove it through each other's shins until they got to the fleshy part of the bone. Now, I don't know what the fleshy part of the bone is. I'm guessing the marrow, the soft bit in the middle. And that sounds like it was painful, but for these bastards, it didn't hurt them. They were like, it just causes a vibration sensation, which fucking weird. That's pain, innit? If there's a vibrating in my bones, I'm gonna be open and say that's pain, that hurts. But no, these doctors were hard as fuck, so it didn't bother them. But they did learn stuff, apparently. I don't know what they learned yet, I've not got that far, but yeah, I thought that's something to tell you. Oh, mate, and yesterday, seeing as I was at home, I answered the door to a couple of Jehovah's Witnesses, two lovely ladies called Sue and Sue, and I actually managed to make the Jehovah's Witnesses want to get away from me. Normally, you close the door in their faces, innit, and you walk away, but I kept them at the door for, it's like community service. I did my bit for the local area. I kept them at the door for about an hour, and they were talking to me about God and that, and then I started talking to them about what I've been learning about, like the ancient alien stuff, like Thoth and Enki and Enlil, Lilith, stories from Genesis, and all mad shit, mate, just throwing it at them. And I was trying to see if I could sort of find out why they believe in God, because I'm fascinated by stuff like that, why people are into all that. And they were lovely, like they were properly into it. But then by about 2:30, one of them started lying, saying it was 2 o'clock and that they had to be somewhere. And I looked at the watch and went, "Oh, you're fine, then you've still got another 35 minutes there. It's only 1:25. Come on, tell me more, what have you got? What do you know about this? What do you know about that? Have you ever heard of this? Have you ever heard of that?" And they were baffled. I was trying to teach them about the idea of the theory of the collective consciousness, and about fifth dimensional aliens and stuff like that, mate. They didn't have a fucking clue what was going on. But they said they're gonna knock on again, so you know, they being God botherers are taking that they're telling the truth. So that's something to look forward to. And I might invite them in next time for a brew, so we can have a sit around the table and have a proper discussion out of the cold. They might like that, they might fucking hate it. They might actually be lying and never knock on again, because I maybe wasted their time. But it was fun anyway. So that's something to look forward to, and it gave me an idea for a podcast as well. That'd be pretty fun to get various different religious people on and just chat to them about what makes them think their religion is what makes them happy. Why can't they just make themselves happy? Which is the biggest thing about religion that bothers me. I don't understand. I understand why people need a bit of security in their own thinking and that, and they need a bit of an ideology or theology. Is theology the word? A thing in their head that they can think back to and think, oh yeah, that's okay to do that because God says this, or the book says this, or the priest says this, or the rabbi says this, or the fucking whatever says whatever. But I did want to start talking to them about how Jesus was just a retelling of Ra, the sun god, but we didn't really get into it. She started telling me though about how angels. I asked them about the Nephilim and the Ajiji and what they thought about them, and they looked a bit shocked, and they quoted a couple Bible quotes at me, and I was like, oh, I don't really know how to quote the Bible. I don't really know it off by heart. I've only read it a couple of times when I was read it and had it read to me in school a couple of times, various different fucking versions, but and obviously took some of that in. But they would it was the way they were like, oh, but then so the angels came down and they had sex with the earth women, and I was thinking, but according to you, this was before Genesis, this was before Adam and Eve. So where are these first people coming from? So that's something to bring up with them next time. I don't want to trip them up, you know. They're old days and they were lovely. I'm not trying to trip them up or confuse them. I just find it interesting. I like to talk to people about it, and a lot of people seem to get bored or annoyed when I bring it up in just general conversation. It's not really small talk, is it? It's not really sit on a park bench small talk. Oh, what do you think of God? What do you think of this? Have you ever heard of the Epic of Gilgamesh and how that's very similar to Noah's floods or things like that, you know? But fucking yeah, that's something. Anyway, there's a load of stuff there for you to think about and look up. So I'll start doing these again every day. I've missed a couple of days, but I'm just going to number it as if it's the next day, because in a week's time, who's going to know that this wasn't the next day? Still wearing the same hoodie, probably wearing the same hat, but a light bulb has changed. So I'll see you in a bit.